Waiting for the stream to switch over from hosting. And there it is. We're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. I'm Christiana Ellis. I'm doing it out of order. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Boo!
Dungeons and
D
Dragons.
and D.
Dragons and Dungeons.
I am Christiana Ellis, and I'm the Dungeon Master. And tonight, our players, Starla Hodgson as Nirakina Etu,
Greetings and salutations.
the top of Jenny Meltzer's head as Cadence of the Water. James Meltzer as Ket of the Sands.
Da-na-na-na. 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 Da-na-na-na.
Off-camera jokes. Mark Kilfoyle as Alaric Copperbeard.
You rang?
Yes.
We are still down Vivid Muse as Amethyst. However, we are expecting Chute Schubert as Autarky to join us shortly. So, what did you guys do last time?
We got a book.
We killed a
Really
dragon.
cool book.
Yeah.
Looted his stuff.
We outsmarted a Marut.
Did we though?
Got away from a Marut for the time being.
You
We found
got
some
saved
universal
from
solvents.
the Marut.
Yeah, we Benny Hilled that. Yeah.
Yep,
Yep, that's how you do it.
Marut Boot Scoot.
that's
Yes.
right.
So, you did find yourself in the crosshairs of the Marut. In particular, Autarky seems to hold its primary focus. And you were attempting to fight it off, but it seemed pretty tough. And that's when Grandmother Praxis showed up and basically told you that it was going to take her first, and you should use the time that it would take for it to return to not be there anymore. And so then the Marut, having shifted its focus to Grandmother Praxis, bamfed out. Peace, yo. Except that it's probably going to come back. So you guys took the opportunity to salvage some loot from the Amethyst Dragon's hoard, including the Codex Panoptica, an incredibly powerful ancient artifact that allows you to scry on pretty much anyone or anything. And then you scried on lots of things with it because Nira attuned yourself to it. You checked in on a variety of folks. Verified.
Mostly Robert.
Well, mostly Robert.
Mostly Robert.
Sir Robert Borathian, first of his name. So,
Found out that my mommy and pappy are doing well. They're out of the amber.
yes,
I don't know if they're doing well, but they're out of the amber.
yes, you
Alaric's
verified.
dad is not so fortunate.
Yes.
No idea about that.
Did you tell anyone? Oh, only Cadence, right?
Cadence, yeah.
Yeah. You
But
verified.
Kinsey's still dead.
Well, it's complicated.
Yeah,
With it. She is not currently active in the state that you remember dealing with her in.
Sufficiently dead.
Non-corporeal.
She's
Yeah.
downloading into a new body.
Compiling.
She's getting re-sleeved.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So,
Upgrade.
yes, so you verified that. You verified that Zoreth is where you left him last, stuck in the time bubble. And you verified that you were even able to scry on Queen Solomonia herself, although she was aware of it when you did it.
Melicanth also. We found her.
Yes. Melicanth, apparently in a strange prison of some kind, which seems to also be the same place that Grandmother Praxis was taken. So, you also finally decided to look up an Eladrin named Pishwish, who you learned about a long time ago as the person, the Fey spirit who originally stole the Stolen Moment artifact from its creator and gave it to Aunt Melicanth way, way, way back in the beginning. So, that cover it? You decided you probably
He-
do need to actually go get the give this book back to, or not back to, but to Queen Solomonia?
Yes. Pishwish also has the heart of the gardener.
Yes.
Caretaker. Which one was it? I forget.
So,
One of them we added.
yes. The renegade, aka the caretaker, you guys added in the gardener, which is fine, really, but that wasn't one of the names that he had prior to your involvement. Yes, so one of the last thing Grandmother Praxis said to you before being disappeared by the Marut was that you needed to find his heart. You know, he gave it to a thief, but he needs it back. So, also amongst your current prizes looted from the Horde are the remains of the caretaker gardener renegade. But we finished last time with all of you plane shifting straight to Queen Solomonia's private garden solarium. So that's where we are going to pick up right now. You arrive in this. Nira saw it when she scried, but the rest of you are, discover that you are now in a room that is deceptively small at first because there's just lush garden furnishings and plants just everywhere, but you realize that it's just that that's dense and you are actually in a larger space, but it gives sort of a cozy impression initially just by the shape of all the plants, but it's just filled with the most beautiful blooming flowers and lush greenery and just exquisitely crafted furniture, and Queen Solomonia sitting there looking right at you as you appear, and she says, "None other than myself have seen this chamber in over 500 years. If you had asked for an invitation, I would not have given it. However, I'm hoping that you have a present for me."
Well, you did say you wanted it as soon as possible.
I did.
Hi. This is such a beautiful, beautiful garden, my queen.
Thank you.
What are those peonies over there? What are those?
Well, we have so many flowers. It's really a waste of time to just list them all. Let's spend the next half an hour of the game listing all the flowers that are in this garden.
Oh, look at those beautiful orchids. Oh my god.
Yes.
All right. I guess I'll just rip the bandage off and I'm gonna hand her the book.
All right. So you feel as soon as her hand touches it, the attunement that you felt to it it's just gone. And her eyes flicker mirrored and then return to their previous appearance. But she takes the book with a big smile and just takes a moment holding it. There was a moment there, Nira, where I wondered if you might be tempted to keep it.
To be completely honest, there was more than a moment.
She leans in and says, "I wouldn't have trusted you if you didn't feel that way. All of you, we made a bargain. And you have held up your end of the bargain and delivered unto me a boon out of the tales of old. You have done for me what no one else could, and it has changed me and changed the Feywild and changed the multiverse. Ask anything of me, and I will grant it to you.
We need Malacanth.
What? No, we need to. We need. What? Why?
We need a lot of things.
Yeah, that's not top of my list.
Shall I give you a minute?
Do we only get one thing, or does like everybody get
Can you
it?
put back the stolen moment, please?
She laughs and says, "This is not a test. This is not a trick. You have earned my favor. All of you, if you so choose, are invited to become permanent members of my court."
What?
I already had that invitation.
She winks at you.
What does it mean to be a permanent member of your court, my majesty?
Well, it would mean that you are permitted to stay here in the Feywild in incredible luxury. You would be granted lands that you could make your own. You would be given the opportunity to associate at court with an incredible reputation. You could do as you like.
Could I leave?
Of course.
Oh, okay. So if I wanted to say, hey man, I could be a permanent member of your court, but I could still go off with my friends for adventuring?
Absolutely.
Okay. We're just
Yeah.
gonna go and talk amongst ourselves now.
I think we have a lot to talk about.
I would grant you anything, and this would include remaining in this solarium if you ask it of me. However, if you simply wish to have a private conversation, there are perhaps other places you could do so.
Yeah, let's find a place somewhere else.
Yeah.
She gestures, and some of the, like, there's some like hanging vines and tree branches that just sort of sweep open like curtains, and you see a little tunnel that looks like, the hollow under a tree behind it. And she just says, follow that and it will take you to a private space where you may stay as long as you like. And of course, as soon as you wish to go anywhere else, an opening will be made available.
Good then. I'm marching off in that direction.
Yeah, I'll go too.
Same.
Yeah, man.
Come on, Archie.
I'm coming.
Welcome back, Chooch.
A little extra slow today.
Yeah, no worries. So as you're all leaving, if any of you happen to sneak a glance back as you leave and see the vines once again closing, you see her just looking down at the book and just sort of gently caressing the cover with a smile.
There's no such thing as a private conversation anymore. You guys do know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, being outside of her presence for a little while maybe makes it a little bit better, I guess. I don't know.
So you're following this little tunnel, but it's not very long before you just go around a bend and it opens into a room maybe not quite as glorious as the garden you just left, but similar in concept, the same aesthetic. There's little natural looking benches and lots of just beautiful greenery around and places to sit in comfort. And there's actually already like a table sitting out with, platters of just look like, appetizers, little crudité and fruits and glasses of what looks like white wine.
Wine. Why is it always wine?
I'm not complaining.
And these things, I mean, they're small enough to be gnome bites. But eat normal food.
They're free, Alaric.
Yeah, why are we being so
Nothing's-
picky?
Nothing's free here. You of all people, Nirkina, no, you're not free. You're bound badly.
Thank you for the reminder. I appreciate that.
But you have the chance to ask for that to be removed. For that binding to be.
That's a different deal entirely. We have other more pressing issues.
Sure. Like the abyss.
Well, so our Fey Queen here is the one that sent the Githyanki off in search of the bits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So all she really has to do is just tell them where to look, and it's going to take an army to get to where it's at. Like, you guys didn't... It's one thing to tell you what I saw. It's another thing to see it.
I believe you.
Do you think they're up to it?
It's an entire army. If they aren't, I'm not sure we could.
I mean,
Yeah, there's lots of things individuals can do that armies can't, but
Just the sheer numbers alone.
maybe.
The reason I suggest a rescue of Melicanth is because that seems, believe it or not, far more difficult to accomplish.
Wherever she was. She's safe?
Safe, locked away, but not in immediate danger?
But as soon as she leaves there, she would be.
Well, I mean, the same thing could be said for us. I mean, for all we know, the Marut's going to charge in here any second, looking for Archie.
Maybe. But what's Melicanth going to do about that if she's with us? I mean, I'm not saying that she couldn't defend herself, but it puts her in danger.
I mean, what if we just ask the queen to make the Marut forget about Archie?
Maybe. But
I know
still-
you want to get Melicanth back. You keep bringing that up, and I understand that she's important and essential because she has the stolen moment. But there are ways around that.
But we need that in order to complete the ritual to do anything.
Do we,
True.
though?
I'm still not entirely sure what we hope to accomplish. I know that Kat knows something about how to do some. I don't really understand that part, but you know how to make the right brick to fill the wall of time, I guess,
Yeah, but he
Well, it's
requires the
ritual.
stolen moment to do it.
Or another moment?
or replacement moment.
Yeah.
No. We need the stolen moment. If I put, I'm gonna say this one more time. If we do not put the stolen moment back, the right stolen moment instead of another memory, then this whole thing is just gonna happen again. That if we put back another memory, it's just holding some cracks in place. We need to put back the right stolen moment, the one that Melicanth has, and then this whole thing will be over with.
Okay, so let me clarify once again. Just
Okay, wait. I gotta discuss something with the queen first. I'll be right back.
So to clarify,
Okay.
there are two layers of the problem. One is that, like, imagine that the multiverse is an egg, all right? One layer of the problem is that there's a hole in the shell, right? That's a real problem. It makes the egg less stable, and you could replace what was, you could fill that hole with the original piece that was taken away, or something else. Both of those would solve that problem. But the other layer of the problem is that there is this pressure from outside the universe trying to crush the egg. With the hole there, it's easier to crush the egg. So filling the hole gives you time, but doesn't solve the overall problem.
What if the overall
It might put it off long enough that you don't even actually have to worry about it all that much. But if the tree is able to fully regrow, it fixes that problem. And if that were to happen, the hole would actually not be a big deal anymore. So theoretically, you could let the tree regrow and wouldn't have to fill the hole at all. But it's riskier in the meantime.
So we could take any old thing, any old moment that we see and witness now and put it there. We don't need the actual stolen moment, and it creates that buffer for a little while until we could get the tree to regrow.
And we need the gardener to make sure the tree is safe.
Yes.
And we need to figure out how the gardener can be safe, because he wasn't before. He was torn apart by the Marut.
Right. So if
Well, that's the thing.
We
He
need to get
gave
rid of
his
the
heart
Marut.
away. So maybe that's the key piece to, because he wasn't fully complete, he couldn't defeat the Marut.
So we're back to going to the abyss and trying to get the heart.
Or asking the queen to help us there.
Well, that's what I was wondering, if she could give us a boon of safe passage there and back.
What if she could just snap her fingers and be like, here you go, here's the heart.
If she could snap her fingers and do all the things, then she would have taken the book a long time ago. I don't know what her limitations are, but she has some. Maybe because she's dealing with the gods. Maybe it's not her realms. I don't know. I mean, we can always ask her if that's within her power. You simply let Pishwish free and let the heart free. Not that we necessarily need Pishwish. I don't know where he plays into this now.
I don't even know who that is.
The fact that the gardener gave Pishwish his heart, according to, if you can trust her, Praxis, then there's some sort of trust there between the gardener and Pishwish.
Okay. So
What
your
if-
mother Praxis is crazy, but she has not steered us wrong yet.
She's not so much crazy as she is hard to decipher.
And I don't know if it's steering us wrong so much as, here's a lot of dangerous things. Good luck. I'm not going to tell you anything useful
That's not true.
until after the fact.
That's
You
not
only find out
true.
afterwards.
My interaction with her was not like that at all. She helped me work out a very important problem.
Maybe she likes you better then. She tried to steal my boots.
Maybe she was trying to get your attention because she knew you wouldn't listen either way. I mean, she seems to know a lot. She probably knows a lot about you as a person. And she was like, this guy's not going to listen to me.
If she knows so much, she could be a lot more useful, but instead she plays games. I can't trust that.
Maybe she can't do it directly for whatever reason. You have no idea. I'm not saying we need to trust her and become her best friend, but she helped Ket get his voice back. She helped us figure out the problem for, the stolen moment problem. She's talked to me about the tree. And
She
how
allowed us to escape the Marut with Archie.
she
still
has.
around.
Yeah.
I don't know what her plan is.
You
Yeah,
don't
She's
need to know.
trapped.
I'm
She's
sure
playing
she
a
figured it
bigger
out.
game than I can see. But I want to understand and try to remember the timeline here. Pishwish was the one who stole the moment. One of the queens was the one that created the moment, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Solomonia.
No.
So you could
Hieronymus
create another one.
created.
Herodimus? Oh, Solomonia is the one we're at. I was like,
Yeah.
Right,
Makes
right.
sense.
So
Yeah,
I was
Hieronymus.
thoughtful, but I wanted to be sure.
Yeah.
So Herodotus could create another moment. We don't even know why she created it. Why did Pishwish steal it? Why is Pishwish at the center of this? Did the gardener tell Pishwish to steal the moment? I don't even
Right.
understand. Because the tree and time and the moment are all wrapped up together. It makes me feel like there's something I'm missing. Something about the way these are all connected.
So he would have taken the renegade's heart long before the business with the stolen moment.
He was given it.
Yes.
Again, if we can trust anything that Praxis says, and if it's not intended to be doublespeak or otherwise interpreted.
But Near saw him with it, so that's true.
We think
He
so.
has it.
He has it now. Whether it was given or not, we still don't know.
Does that matter, though?
No,
Kind of does.
not really.
If Bishwish just simply stole it, then there's no reason the gardener trusted him. But if the gardener gave him the heart, he must have had a reason. And that reason has to mean something. I got to think it means something in all this.
Well, we mean nothing if we can't get it back, and it's going to take an army to do that.
It's been fine for these many years. I don't know if it's necessarily in any more danger than it ever has been.
No.
No, we just need it now.
Yeah. We need it now, rather than waiting for an army to actually wander their way through. We can do things that no one else can. That's what you just said, right? We defeated their biggest weapon. Just the handful of us. I don't know if their army's necessarily up to it. There's still other pieces of it anyway to be found, and if they spent the entire army just getting this part back, we'd not necessarily be any further ahead.
Well, I think maybe the heart is the important part. That might be where he keeps his I don't know, what would you say?
Home? Home
The
is
ability to
hearted, right?
communicate his because we have his head and we have his arm.
Or the seat of his power. Maybe he has a dog in there. That's where he kept his dog all these years, kept it safe. I don't
What
think
should we ask for? Like
I don't think Melicanth is a priority just yet.
I think we established that.
But we might be able to get there on our own.
The thing is, I feel like where she was not within. So if she's being held by the whatever it was, the manifestations or whatever
Yeah.
of order,
Order, was it?
The inexorables.
the inexorables, aren't those the forces that are outside of the planes of existence?
They were part of what created the realms of existence. You don't know that the place you saw is outside the realms of existence.
Alright.
You know that these entities of pure law come from outside the multiverse as you know it. Doesn't mean that's where you saw.
As powerful as that book is, can it even see outside of existence? Does that even make any sense?
One moment, this little dog is going to be banished to the other room. One moment.
Cast banishment.
All right.
So
Praxis and Melicanth were both in the same place, right? Not
right.
the same room, but the
Well,
same place.
That book was created by the same forces as created the Marut and such.
Hmm.
They all
But
come
not-
from the same place.
Not by the same forces, by the opposite forces, it sounds like.
Not
Or
necessarily.
is it an instrument of the inexorables?
Well, just think, if you're chaotic, you don't care what else is going on, so long as it's a bunch of stuff.
But why create a book for mortals?
Who said it was for mortals?
Maybe not. Still seems a weird thing to do.
I mean, the best way to keep track of everything and what's going on is to be able to see it.
So it's created for the Marut, maybe?
Didn't it
I
belong
mean-
to the Renegade?
I have no idea where the book came from.
Yeah.
Christiana, I was trying to remember. Didn't you say that the Codex Panoptica had belonged to the Renegade?
Yes.
Am I misremembering that?
No, you are not. That's correct.
Oh, okay. But wait, if it was created by the Inexorables, but the Inexorables destroyed the Renegade, oh, because he was a renegade, I guess. Yeah, okay.
He was one of them.
Right. If he was one of them, then he would know how to get to that prison, perhaps. Maybe even better than the Queen.
Perhaps.
So we need to get the guy's heart.
And it
some
seems
of those
like a
strange
logical
words.
starting place.
There are wild cursor birds flying in this small.
Video
Yeah.
jokes.
Yes.
Perhaps we could use, kind of like in the past, we used the army as a false front. We go in where we're not expected.
Use the army as a false front.
I mean, if she can tell us where the heart is, and
Well, use the army to draw the forces torturing Pishwish. Away. And
exactly.
we can go and... I mean, unless we really want to rescue Pishwish and ask him about this stuff.
I mean, we've got a lot of questions that he might be the only entity to be able to answer.
I mean, it's possible Solomonia could just give us Pishwish.
But we want to make sure that Pishwish has the heart.
It's like the wish spell. You gotta be super careful how you phrase it.
The Pishwish spell?
That's probably who it was named after. I mean, I don't know.
Better than
Well,
the pitch
so
spell. That's
why
pisses
don't-
people off.
Why don't we just tell her Pishwish has the heart of the renegade, and we need him and it.
Package deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we need her to get it for us, not just that we need it and she sends it there.
Maybe she can just get it.
Oh, yeah, plan A, yeah.
Yeah.
Just get it. That'd be great.
And if she can't, maybe she can help us get to where we need to be.
All
Yeah,
right.
our backup is summon the Gith Yankee. Right?
Yeah, because that's where that's what they went to go do is find parts of the renegade. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a part. Go get it.
There are portals all over the astral plane. They may know of one that leads to the abyss.
Possibly. So is that what we're gonna do then?
That's what I was thinking of.
Okay.
I suppose.
Is there anything else we need to discuss? Okay then.
Other than if we want to try to ask for, more, even more at the same time. But
I don't really want anything
yeah.
else.
I think we
Or-
may be
I'm-
pushing things.
Or
I'm
releasing
really ready to get
Yarakina
out of
from
here.
her binding.
Yeah, we kind of have places to be also.
I mean, it is the Fey lands. Time's
So-
not the same here.
I'm going to say this only because I want to make sure it's not only the players forgetting. You did ask previously about if she would be able to restore your lost memories, and she said yes.
Yep.
So
Well,
You
that's
don't
why I
have to
asked
ask
if
for
we were
that.
allowed to ask.
yeah,
That's why I asked her if we were allowed to ask for a thing each, or if we were only allowed one thing.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just saying, I'm not telling you guys that you have to ask for that, but I'm just saying that was something you had previously discussed and yet hadn't brought up. So I wasn't sure if you were just forgetting that was on the table.
But if,
Totally.
if there's a choice that, have to make between my memories or, saving the multiverse, it's
Yeah,
kind of an
well,
easy
then-
choice.
Alaric has never mentioned it. It's never been a priority for him.
Yeah, dude.
But the other thing she can do is release Nirakina from her
That's part of a
obligation.
different deal, though, and she has held
Still?
up her end of the bargain for that.
Doesn't mean she can't release it for good deeds.
Yeah, she's very happy now.
Well, if we can ask for more than one thing, maybe that's what Gary could ask for.
All right. I think we've made our decision. I wish Amethyst were here, but I'm happy to know that she's taking care of the tree
And probably Ket's parents.
and probably an entire city.
Maybe. Nobody better to look after them.
She'll have them really organized by the time we get back there. Quite a paradise, I suspect.
She'll mom them all more than they've ever been mommed before.
I wonder how many puppies are
Mm,
up at once.
Maybe she'd like have some kittens. I don't know.
That might be weird, actually. Sorry.
There's a lot of cat people. I mean, do you think they want puppies running around? You
Yeah,
never know.
Pigs. She'd conjure pigs.
Exactly.
yeah, or owls,
Who doesn't like a
purple
pig?
owls. Maybe a gorilla if she needs to.
All right.
All right.
Let's go back to the queen.
Yep.
Okay.
Or, well, actually,
Cat
I
would
guess-
probably just tell her that we want to talk to her.
I don't think we're really supposed to go back in there anyway.
I don't think it would take us there if we wanted to go.
Maybe not. Cat?
All right. So if you guys, once you kind of start talking about it like this, there basically just another sort of opening makes itself obvious.
Nothing comes out
well,
of
that's convenient.
You know, she heard the whole conversation.
it. It's still nice to think that we were given some privacy, but maybe not. Well, let's go.
Whoever likes to can make either. I guess it would probably be Arcana or Nature would also be okay. Or
Cat.
maybe Cadence could make survival checks.
None of those.
I got a 21 for Arcana.
Okay. You just based on kind of how and when it happened, you know that despite the fact that Queen Solomonia may well have been listening, you got the impression that the opening seems to respond more like it was a natural function of the room responding to your will, as opposed to Queen Solomonia listening and doing it herself. It's like the room is designed to respond to what you guys want.
I'd like to think a high nature roll is trees don't normally do that.
It's true. They don't. So, do you
All right,
follow
well.
that tunnel?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You find that it leads you out into what looks like not a throne room exactly, but much more like a formal sort of receiving chamber, where she's not up on some high throne, but she's sitting there in a large, comfortable chair where it's clear that it's kind of like a holding court sort of sitting room. And there are a few other members of what look like, elven nobility of the Dawn Court who are also there, and they are pleasantly chatting with small talk. You don't see the actual, like, the book. You don't see it there, but they look over to you as you emerge. She says, "Welcome. Did you get your thoughts in order?"
I believe so.
Probably not.
Most of we ever come anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
What? Nobody else is going to talk?
So she gestures, and there are in fact in this sort of little semicircle of chairs that face hers. There are enough for all of you to sit.
I sit in the one closest to the queen.
I'll take the one in the center,
Okay.
facing my enemy.
I'll sit next to Nirkina.
Hop on a random chair.
Sure. All right. Now that we've got that mapped out, roll initiative. No, I'm kidding.
Chair fighting.
Archie's chair blows up. No. Yeah.
His
So
chair
Wah,
always
wah.
blows up.
she is just waiting patiently, benevolently, big smile, gentle smile.
Your Majesty, there is an Eladrin by the name of Pishwish who possesses an item we require.
She has her benevolent smile turns into slightly more of a smirk.
Hmm,
I know the fellow.
I imagine you do. Seems a bit infamous.
Yes, well,
We do require both the Eladrin and the item he has, because it requires some explanation. The item.
tell me what item you mean.
Well, I mean, it would be easy enough for you to see it. But
Indeed,
he
but we're having a
possesses
conversation.
he possesses the heart of the renegade.
That is interesting.
Per our source, it was given to him.
It would not, or I should say, it does not come as a surprise to me that something of that type had happened. Pishwish was a troublemaker, but a daring act like stealing an artifact like the one we all are familiar with, the stolen moment, stealing an object like that from Queen Hieronymus. Well, let's say it was a little bit like a petty cutpurse suddenly setting his sights on the king's crown. It was unusual. And yet he pulled it off, only to be tossed into the abyss as a reward, I suppose.
Do you know who tossed him into the abyss?
Well, it wasn't
Some of the story
me.
is missing to us.
There has been court gossip about that. Technically speaking, no one of the Fae did the tossing. Demons from the abyss came and dragged him away. But called by whom? Well, many rumors, very few facts. I suspect he knows. I
Quite
can
likely.
assure you it was not me or anyone in my court.
If it was demons that dragged him, there
Just
are
for the
some
hell of
dots
it?
that can be connected there.
I would like to insight or check on.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, I can assure you it wasn't me. I don't likely a chance of hell, but it's always fun to do these things. Yeah, it's a 12. I can't tell when she's lying or sarcasm. What is this sarcasm you speak of?
You feel like if she told you the sky was green, you would want to go and check because, like, it might be for all you know. Like, so the point is that you
Yeah.
cannot detect any falsehood from her, but you also have a pretty good sense that you wouldn't be able to tell.
So just assume falsehood across the board. It's the only way to be safe.
I really
that's one
can't
way to live your
remember
life.
this. I really can't remember this whole timeline, but so Pishwa stole the moment and did he deliver it somewhere?
He's the one that gave it to Melican.
Right. And then was rewarded.
Yeah. Still so many bits missing here. But Pishwa seems the only person who could answer most of these questions.
So, I promised that I would grant you anything. And I suppose it's implicit there that it's anything within my power. I have ways of helping this but you do not ask for a small thing. We could perhaps send the Githyanki after him. Would that be an acceptable method?
What do you think their chances are of succeeding?
I
It's
would
not
imagine,
acceptable if they wouldn't succeed.
Well, as it happens, their techniques tend to be rather smash and grab. And so I suppose there's a question of how durable you think Pishwish and the item are?
Well, they're currently being torn apart over. Well, Pishwish is currently being torn apart over and reassembled, so.
Well, I would suspect it's probably fine then.
We also, like, the Gift Yankee were supposed to be going to find parts of the Renegade anyway, and I mean, this would be just like sending them to do their job.
So this
Indeed.
wouldn't be a boon, you mean?
But you could certainly tell them to abandon their search or halt it temporarily for other locations, given that you have identified one.
There was another one, too, that I saw.
Yeah,
What was
but
it
did
like?
we know where it was? Did you mark down the location?
It should have written it down, but.
I don't. I described it generally, but I don't think you would necessarily know where that was. It didn't look familiar.
Something
Um,
with Vikings and it's very Valhalla-ish.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Actually,
Uh,
Otterkey should remember that place, I think.
I was just going to say, actually, I think when Nira, if Nira says that, Otterkey might say, a little bit of a ping of like, hey, wasn't there this time that I briefly skipped around a few planes, and one of them was this place where there was never-ending battle for people who liked that?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
I was wondering why nobody mentioned it.
Totally
It's
forgot.
like, I must have made that up.
That could be connected.
So, if you wish for me to help you procure one Pishwish, accompanied by one caretaker's heart, that would be, I believe, my most direct method of helping you do so. If you are concerned about the Githyanki's tactics, we could send them simply as support, or I could help you to arrange some other transport. But I'm afraid I don't have direct influence over the Abyss itself.
Well, I feel like their tactics are probably pretty well suited to this particular situation.
Well, we want to
Certainly-
make sure that they bring Fishwish back alive. I mean, we don't want them to just be like, kill him and bring the Renegade heart.
Well, I mean, in theory, it doesn't matter.
Well, that's true, because you could just be like, speak with Dead and tell me what you know.
Or just bring him back.
Yeah, well, that's true. True.
Does that work on their kind? They are of a different nature than everything else, right?
It kind of works on like all people.
Well, if
Well,
it's
they're
a
already dying
thing-
and being reborn constantly.
You know,
If
this
it's
is an interesting question because Pishwish is a fae, not humanoid.
If he's
So
not
I don't know
immortal.
about your raise dead spell. I don't
Hmm.
know actually. What does it say?
Let me find out. Let's see.
Interesting nuance.
Let's see. True Resurrection says
Oh,
a creature that has
Okay.
been dead for no longer than 200 years.
yeah. So I would say that he would qualify. Note the material
Because-
cost of true resurrection.
Yeah, that's a 25,000 gold diamond.
Well, we have a
Or-
lot of loot that we could sell to get one if we need to.
Diamond's worth at least 20, so it doesn't have to be just
Wow.
one, but
Just go down to the corner shop and pick one up.
so
Yeah.
but that's like if that one can even provide like a new body if he needs it, but resurrection.
Raised
Is
dead
a-
is probably the other one, or well,
Let's see.
Well, Renegade's a
I
concept.
think I know I looked up Ray's dead, and it also says creature. I think it applies. So
How
I
long
was
do you-
curious, but I think yeah, there wouldn't be any question. Like you are confident your spell would work on Pishwish, but you also don't know exactly what is going on down in the abyss, where it seems like he's getting torn apart and then regrowing himself.
Like,
You're
how
not.
long do you have to cast it after the person is dead?
Ray's dead is 10 days.
What if he's
No.
been dead for a very long time and they're just torturing his soul?
Now, is that Feywild days, astral plane days? Oh, time.
She'll and Queen Solomonia at this point would just say, as it happens, the Githyanki Armada has not actually had much time to do much searching yet. As you recall, most of the time you have experienced since then was here, where only minutes were passing elsewhere. They've only had about a day and a half.
So
So if we were to wait here, we could wait an eternity before they're done.
Well, the time is generally more unpredictable. I gave you my blessing to have it work in your favor. I could turn it the other way. Allow
Yeah,
you to
I'll get-
while away however long their search goes, and have it feel but a moment for you, if that was your wish.
Too many
Um,
things to do.
Well, I have one question. Just because kind of looking around nervously. There was a creature back in that crater, the Marut, and it has its eyes set on Archie.
Well,
Is he protected here?
she kind of seems like she's thinking about it, and she says, "Please forgive me. This is not often something I have to say, but I don't know. I have many
Wow.
protections in place, but that creature has ways that are beyond my current knowledge. I hope to know more about it, but right now I don't know. If it were to attempt to transport into this plane from another, if it uses means similar to the one you used, I could forbid its appearance within my court's realm, but not forbid it from appearing in the Feywild. And if it were to appear in the Feywild and make its way in this direction, well, it might require more conventional combat to hold it at bay. And I don't know how powerful it is.
It's pretty powerful.
I'll add, just for the moment, that I allowed you to plane shift into my solarium. You could not have done so without my permission.
I appreciate that.
We didn't know how else to give you your book.
Well, exactly. That's why I gave you my permission.
So, if we do that, and we have to get Yankee go and get Fishwish and the Renegade's heart, we do have something else that we need to do, Mira. That would kind of keep Archie like on the move.
True.
We wouldn't be like sitting in one place for too long.
True.
I mean,
Uh,
we still want to do that thing that we talked about.
Right. Still want to do that thing. I don't. Well, no. Let me see.
Did we join the mob?
Yes. What's a mob? Other than like the gathering outside of the castle with Fishwish. What is that?
Yeah, I could do that.
The thing with that guy.
How will we get there?
I could do that too.
Okay.
I just need to make sure I have the right spells equipped to do the thing. Where are you? I don't know if that one's going to do it. It's 5th. 3rd. Hold on. Ah, not that.
So all the rest of you are watching as Nira suddenly gets kind of a 1,000-yard stare and little mathematical formulas and stuff are appearing.
I
around her.
wonder, while Nira is thinking about magic, I wonder if, so now that Archie made the tree grow again, like, is the Marut still going to try to stop it there, or is it just going to focus on finding Archie?
Yeah.
'Cause that seems kind of like,
Almost a
I
good
don't
thing.
know. Yeah, because then the tree will keep growing, but also it seems kind of like it's going against its purpose.
Could be putting Amethyst in danger.
Yeah.
If she's the only one helping it grow, and if it's attracted to that,
We can make sure the Marut is more interested in Autarky or us.
Yeah.
Keep it running.
Yeah. I mean, what happens if the tree grows while it's away? I mean, that tree grew pretty, like, a good deal when Archie did that. And
Queen Solomonia, do you know if there's more than one of those things? The Marut?
There is only one that is within the realms that I have been able to see.
That's pretty broad. Doesn't mean they
But-
can't make another one, but
Indeed. They may have an army of them for all I know, but it may well be that they have simply found that only one is all they need.
if they're on one side of the equation, who's on the other? Who's on the who are they fighting against naturally? Would they be allies in this?
I think that the beings of pure chaos that would oppose those you speak of, it would be hard for anyone to call them allies.
I don't know. I've known a little creature of chaos for a while, although I haven't seen Mugen for a while.
You spoke of the abyss. I would say that if anyone were to align with beings that desire pure chaos of all things, demons would be the most like-minded.
That's not helpful. Last thing I really want to do is align with some demons.
no.
Well, at least maybe we can start this thing. Are we agreed that we want the focus of these Githyanki to be on finding the heart and Pishwish and get that part started at least?
Yes, they're both at the same place, so.
I will
And
send
I guess
them.
that's what we ask.
I would ask that you please provide to me as much information as you have, and I will further find out whatever else is needed and send them on their way. I can provide you with regular updates as the situation develops.
All right.
Right.
I think in the meantime, we got to figure out what the hell we're going to do next. So, if you'll excuse us.
She's looking at you at this point and just bemused of just saying, "My, what strange creatures you all are."
I don't mind talking about it in front of you, but Alaric is very private.
I didn't want to bother her with this, but
I do have to debrief her if she wants to locate it properly.
can't you just look for it like you did?
Alaric, Stop being so difficult, please. I'm begging you.
Fine. I'll sit here and wait for the conversation to be over.
Thank you.
Um, let's see. Do you need more information on his location or the person himself?
I know Pishwish, but whatever you can tell me about his current circumstances would shorten the length of time required for the Githyanki to locate him.
Well, as I remember it, it was a giant crater of some sort, and he always started at the center of it, which is also where the heart was. And he constantly runs to the edge trying to escape. And the second he gets there, he's pulled back by the massive hordes of monsters chasing him, and then ripped apart over and over.
Awful things, demons.
It's very
I did not
unpleasant.
especially care for Pishwish until he earned some degree of my favor by causing mischief to Queen Hieronymus. But I would not have sent him to a place like that.
Well, likely it has something to do with what he interfered with when he gave Melicanth the stolen moment.
Indeed. Very well. I shall see this thing done. As thanks to all of you for providing me with such a treasure. You have earned my grace and my favor. I would do much for my new friends.
So, like, if, say, somebody wanted their lost memories back, would you, like, I don't know, help get them back? Or would there be, like,
Of
a price
course.
for that?
I promised as much, didn't I? Now, recall. What I promised was that I would be willing to restore as many of your memories as you would like returned. And I will advise you that you may actually find yourself better off without them. They weigh you down in the mortal world when you, all of you, have transcended where you came from. You are so much more now than the mortal creatures you began as. Those memories are just lead weights, drawing you back to that place that you came from, holding you back from what you could become more. I will restore your memories if that is your desire. But consider whether or not you really need them.
I don't.
Well, did you actually lose any memories, Autarky? I mean,
No.
I
Well,
don't think that's what
I
you...
gave up a vow and was given the the reason for the vow, I guess, or the feeling. Or,
I have to say, that is absolutely one of the more remarkable parts of this story. Let it be known to all of you, in case this was not already clear, my bards will sing songs and tell tales of your adventures for millennia, forever.
Geez, I hope not.
So Nero's going to kind of nudge Alaric.
What?
You need to take her up on this offer.
Why?
Because I see you floundering. You've lost your foundation. You need that back.
I'm looking for another one, maybe. I don't know who I was. I don't know if it matters.
It does
I
matter.
got other things to think about. There's more important things to think about.
Well, when we get where we're going, you're going to be like, why are we here?
You need this, Alaric.
I don't know about that. What could I possibly gain from this?
Mira's respect.
Is he looks up with Nirakina. Kind of that comment caught him completely off guard. Is that true? You don't see me as what? Oh, you can't see me?
It isn't that.
What is it then?
I feel like since we made that trade, you've been floundering a bit, struggling, trying to give yourself context. And those memories, I think, will do that for you.
I mean, of course I've been floundering. Have you seen the things that we've been facing? The idea that everything could be erased or made differently, or that time doesn't even work as I thought it did. Nothing makes any sense anyway, so what good is a foundation if it's not going to make any sense anyway?
Because it will give you something to hold on to.
I've been looking for something to hold on to, but this is not what I want. This is not what I need.
I can't force you to do it.
You probably could, actually. You can also ask if this is something that means that much to you. All you'd have to do is ask.
I think you should. But I'll respect your choice if you choose not to.
I don't know if you would.
If there's anything in this world or any other world that I respect, it's choices.
But you don't think I'm making good choices. You don't think that I'm able to make good choices now. Is that what it is? That I'm
think
missing what I need to make these choices?
you make a lot of reckless choices.
And you think this will change? You think that part's not just to me?
Well, you were always a little bit reckless.
All that I really remember is that, well, a group of 4 people have found me in a pit. Everything before that is fuzzy. I've
And that's how many years? That's everything.
But from all that I can remember, my life changed anyway. And I am the person that was found in that pit and taken out of it. And now I'm sitting here at a table with the Queen of the Fae and you guys.
You would have been doing that even with those memories, but
I would have been stuck in a pit or killed by a den home. That's all I would have been. Why would I want to go back to that? Why does it matter so much to you?
So, Lark, maybe there were good things before the pit. Things that would make you feel some kind of joy again.
because there is more to life in general than just this small group of us.
You do know what joy is, right?
Of course I know what joy is.
All right, man, just checking.
You stop telling those jokes so I can have a little joy now.
I've heard him laugh.
Since he didn't have his memories, though, Archie, all I hear from him is a lot of complaining and grousing and misery and
Have
sadness.
you seen what we're dealing with? I don't see a lot of joy in the potential end of the universe.
Do you hear Nira complaining all the time? And she's looking at the same picture that you are.
I
You
mean,
hear Archie complaining all the time, or Ket, or even me, or Amethyst?
yes, but
No.
not Amethyst. No, but... And you think this would change? You think that whatever I find out, it's going to make me happy?
Maybe.
You can't make an effective charge forward if your feet have nothing to push against. And right now, you don't have anything grounding you, allowing you to push forward. Make it mean something, Alaric.
I've tried to make things mean something. But if it means so much to you, then I guess it must be important. All right. Queen Solomonia, can you restore my lost memories?
I can. Is that
No.
your desire?
It is, it is for the better. That's all I've ever tried to do.
If you say so. And she reaches out and just basically just touches you in the middle of the forehead. And it feels as though there was a pressure that you didn't ever, like, you weren't aware of, but it suddenly releases. It's like when your ears are pressurized and you weren't really aware of it until it just releases. But it's like something has unlocked in your brain, and now you just realize that all of those memories, you know, your time as a kid, your father, your mother, preparing to get married, having it all go wrong, the family's, you know, beginning of decline, and then eventually leading into your imprisonment, but then in the mine, but then also remembering now those conversations with your father and mother, and the feast coming out with context that means something to you now.
And his face just goes blank as he's trying to process all of this. I don't understand. My parents, there. And then one little phrase that in context I think is only 2 days old. His face goes pale and his eyes go wide. Are they all right? The promise the dragon made, was that real?
Alaric,
Can you check?
there's an errand we need to run.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
It means there is an errand the group of us needs to run. Something I can take care of.
We need to leave now. Right away. And he just sort of gets up from the table, and you see him kind of stumbling, trying to process this. And just kind of getting some distance, not really looking at anything at the moment.
As he's kind of doing that, Queen Solomonia looks over to Nira and Cadence and just says, "Well, he doesn't seem happier to me."
Cat, is this something that you want me to do?
Do you do you want to remember?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I forgot. I have no idea. It seemed really important to you.
I think this, what we have between you and I, would be a lot more if you remembered.
Cadence, I think there's a lot that you and Ket share, and I think that's what he's trying to get at, that he wants
Yeah.
that deeper connection.
I want that bond, man.
Okay.
Also completely out of character, but this is my first ever White Claw, and it's pretty good.
They are good. They're good.
All right.
We
Yeah,
are
man.
open to sponsorship if that was to be a thing.
Anyway,
Probably not.
so
I think Nira's right. I think, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
It's up to you. Yeah, I'm not forcing you to do anything you don't want to do. I'm just saying, if you want to have that deeper connection with me and to have something a little more worth fighting for, then I think it's good of you to remember the things from when you were little.
I want to remember those people that you showed me.
Absolutely.
I want to see them again and know who they are.
Do it, man.
Okay. Your Majesty,
yes,
would you restore my memories, please?
of course. She reaches over and kind of, with the same way she did with the lark, just kind of just touches you in the center of the forehead. The same feeling for you, this feeling of a release of pressure that you didn't realize was there, and now you do remember your mother, but not just as an image of a tabaxi that vaguely resembles you, but as the mother who taught you to hunt as a little kid, and your father growing up with Ket as children, studying how to become a planeswalker under shadow of a star, the monk from the temple at the tree. You remember these things. You remember the desire to see more, to see the planes, to see everything that's out there, and to see it with your friend Ket.
How do you feel?
Overwhelmed? I I forgot that he died.
Not all memories are good, but they're worth having regardless. They make us who we are. And I think having those memories will keep you strong.
Yeah, I think you're right. It makes things a little more clear too.
Yeah, like now you know why you love me. Because I'm Ket, man.
I already knew that, but yeah, it makes a lot more sense now, like why I put up with so much of your garbage.
So
I like
Queen,
to make you laugh.
Queen Salomonia now looks to you, Nira, and says, "Well, you certainly had opinions when it came to the memories of others."
And I have some on my own as well. I will pass on your offer.
Very well.
I'm curious, Amethyst isn't with us, but she gave away something too.
Yes.
Is there a way for you to undo that? Because that seems very important.
With
I think
her,
that should be
it's,
left up to Amethyst, shouldn't it?
well, if Amethyst were to come here and make the request of me, I would grant it to the best of my ability, but Amethyst's situation is not the same.
That I understood.
I would be able to restore much, I think, but perhaps not all.
Is she a dragon?
Um, mm, no.
Phew. I was really worried that she was like some little baby dragon's mom or something.
You worried or hoping?
No, I was worried because I mean that would be a lot. She'd be really upset if she was like, I left my baby dragon alone in this weird place for a really long time. That would really bother her.
She was something, though.
Hmm.
There's echoes of it. But she is human now.
Interesting.
Well, we'll let Amethyst make that decision. When next we see her, I suppose.
Yes. Very well.
But it
So-
does seem like we have something that we need to do at the moment.
Of course. Let me reiterate that you are all now loyal friends of mine, members of the Dawn Court, if you will accept the title, and simply good allies otherwise. If you ask things of me, I will grant them when they are within my power. If you think of something, let me know. In the meantime, you have more legends to create.
It's because we're heroes, right?
Of course. Heroes of the Dawn Court, to be sure.
Oh man,
Alara kind of wanders back to the table, rather serious look on his face.
we're going.
Excuse me, Your Majesty.
Yes,
I apparently have more business to tend to at the moment. I have a court of my own to see to, apparently. Not permanently, but I thank you for your gifts, and we shall speak again for many reasons.
very well.
Perhaps I will carry the mantle more appropriately of the Copperbeard clan when I return.
Alaric,
Your Majesty.
I know that you and I have not always seen eye to eye. So I will ask rather than simply grant it to you. But as you go now to deal with things that I'm sure you will find difficult, you may have my blessing as you go, if you would like it.
It is true that we have not always seen eye to eye, and that is mostly as my father would have put it, that I have more mountain in my head than brains, and that is my fault. I would accept your blessing with my thanks.
She holds out her hand like offering so you could kiss it, basically.
And he walks forward a little awkwardly, because he was never really good at this stuff anyway, but does do kind of a half bow and kiss the hand.
All right. You feel sort of a warm glow inside, and mechanically, what you have now is, until further notice, you have advantage on all charisma-based checks.
Nice.
Ket just kind of stands there with his mouth open. Man, I never thought I'd see the day.
Now, if you will forgive the swiftness that happens with the mortal realm, I believe we should be going.
Of course.
I have matters to attend to.
Briefly, Ket, you hear in your head as she glances over, and it's definitely that Galadriel to Frodo moment from Fellowship of the Ring, where she's talking to other people, but you hear in your head, she's just kind of like, "It would be wasted on you. You don't need it." But she just sort of straightens up, looking to all of you and saying, "All of you, I hope that you are able to use the powers that you have accumulated over all your adventures to shape the world in the way you would will it. I know you will leave your marks."
Indeed.
Yeah, we always do that.
But now we must make haste. Nirikina can, pardon me, Nirikinathu, can you move us to where we need to be, or should we seek some way of leaving here on our own, or with the Queen's assistance?
I can do it.
Then we should move. I don't know what the rest of you are expecting, and I cannot ask you to travel with me, although I would hope that you would. But I have to check on my home.
Archie, I'm going to need the tuning fork. for the
Yeah,
tuning
yes. Absolutely. I'm with you 100%.
Of course, we're with you, Larry.
I'm glad. I remember things, but I still remember you all very well.
As we're like walking to where Nira is gonna do this, I'm like, is that what you were worried about, Alaric? That you would forget us when you remembered the past?
The most dangerous thing of all is that which you do not know. I am reminded of many lessons drilled into me by force and forceful language. I'd forgotten them all. But I was afraid that what I would remember would be much, much worse. As it is, well, I'm a dwarf. We have broad shoulders. They're meant to hold broad responsibilities. So I'll make do. Now,
So, Christiana, a mechanical question because the spell does not specifically say. It looks like I can, but I can cast Plane Shift at level 8, right?
I mean, you could use
It,
an
it
8th
doesn't
level
like it
slot
doesn't
if you
affect
want.
it.
It doesn't make any difference to the spell.
Okay, I was just making sure before I just went ahead and did it.
Oh,
that
sure.
it'll-
Yeah, you can use, you know,
anything higher than the spell
right, right.
level, right?
Is it level 7 normally?
It's
I
a
don't-
level 7, so yeah, I
Yeah,
was going to
so
use
you
level
could
8.
use 7th, 8th, or 9th to do it, but there's no change to the effect of the spell.
Yeah. Okay. Then I will be casting Plane Shift at level 8 to take us to the Barrier Mountains. I'm going to aim for that courtyard, the Copperbeard Estate.
Okay.
Mhm.
So all of you are, standing together as a party, and you find the world shimmering around you, and seeming to just go dark around you, leaving this brightly lit, airy courtroom, uh, courtroom, room of the court, sitting room, I guess. Courtroom isn't actually what I mean. And at first it seems as though it's just darkness around you, but gradually it begins to resolve. And Alaric, you instantly recognize the sort of low droning
I've missed that sound.
the sound that tells you that it is about 10:30 a.m. right now. And you all sort of blink your eyes, adjusting to the dimmer light in here. And you're not right in the courtyard, but you are basically, you are just inside where you had entered the gate into the Barrier Mountains. And so you know how to reach the Copperbeard sort of clan area from here, but you're more like in the upper city part. And in fact, actually, you just glance over and you see that there's the the theme bar that's themed after the surface, called the next worst thing. And it's so that's where you are. And as you have just appeared in the middle of a plaza, there's a lot of dwarves that are sort of in a circle around you, all look sort of gasping and looking shocked. And you see a couple of guards sort of like hustling over towards you with their weapons drawn.
I gotta walk out to meet them. You there? Take me to the king and queen immediately.
I think technically they're, I don't, that's not titles we were using before, but
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
It's been
all
a
right.
long time. I've forgotten most of this background too. I'm kind of afraid you're going to bring it up again.
I know I actually was,
Oh, man.
I did a little bit of re-listening, and it's literally from 2017 is the last time we dealt with this stuff.
3 years?
Yeah. Well, 2.5, but yeah.
14 years?
14.
I mean, there's a little bit of difference the way the Feywild works, right?
287 years. It's so, but I mean, you could say, take me to, Lord and Lady Copperbeard, for example.
Yeah. I don't remember I forgot their names. I'd
We
look them up.
didn't really officially establish a title, but essentially,
There was
the
something. 'cause
Copperbeards
that
are
was-
they're like a noble house that has their own region within this larger city complex. And so the
Right.
city complex has like an estate, and then you can take a train from there to the various other holdings like mines and stuff.
Right. Figures I get my own background wrong. Yeah. The equivalent titles of.
Sure, yeah. But they see you and make a persuasion check.
Woo. Try out this thing here. That is, where's my sheet? That is a 19.
Great. So you see them definitely relax as they see you, and they lower their weapons, but still do approach and say, "Yes, of course. I suppose we should have expected your arrival, but not quite such an ostentatious one, I suppose. You made quite an impressive entrance."
Apologies. I have been not myself for a while, and I've had other business to deal with. And I only just learned that I should return. Tell me, are they well? Tell me, are they all right?
They get that kind of frozen expression of like, they thought for sure you knew. I mean, that must be why you're here. Uh, 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 m- uh, my, sir, my understanding is that Lady Copperbeard is well, but in mourning.
How long?
I mean, it has only been 18 hours. It's
Nirakinathu, is that too long?
No, it's not too long. That's why we're here.
And we need to see him immediately.
of course.
Take me to where his body's being held, please.
Yes, he is currently lying in state. We will escort you there immediately. And he starts actually shouting at the others, and they literally start like running ahead to sort of clear out the crowds so that you can make your way uh, down the ramps to that area without
And
any kind of obstruction.
weirdly, still weird for the first time, actually weirdly appropriate. He's still attuned to the axe. He has this, very fine looking clothing that he's returned in. He
Yeah.
looks much more of the family than he did before he left, which is
Mhm.
also kind of weird to people.
Yeah. I mean, everyone is like, everyone who sees you is just reacting with just like amazement. You are look like this figure of legend, you know, not like a specific, but I mean, no one is paying like special attention to the axe necessarily. You cut a very impressive figure,
Well, the axe
but
itself is invisible right now, but
yeah. Well, so I'm just saying that they, like there's no one. Okay, so if it's not like on display or visible, you have it like in your little packed
pocket
weapon,
dimension.
pocket dimension, or whatever. Soul bond. It's not a packed weapon, right? It's something
Right.
else. Anyway, yeah, but you certainly look remarkably impressive in this very old-fashioned but amazingly impressive-looking armor. And so you are escorted promptly down to the sort of gate, where you can take a train to the Copperbeard you know estate, essentially the lands where the caves, the mines where the clan makes its home, and you ride that little train there, and you find actually that as the train comes up to meet you, you are greeted on the train by an ashen-faced looking Brigga, who you may remember as the guard captain, who rode with you both ways on the train down to the mines the last time. But this time she doesn't. She looks somewhat surprised to see you, especially in this new armor. But she's also clearly kind of muted and just says, uh, "We had attempted to notify you, but we were told that the spell failed to reach you."
I'm not surprised. I've been in a lot of different places, most of which are, well, not really around here. But I only recently got the news. How did it happen? I'm to understand that there were assassins hired, but the details might be helpful.
There's still a lot we don't know. We're trying to find out, but and you're having this conversation basically on this short train ride to the Copperbeard clan estate, and uh, what she says is, it only one of my men actually got any kind of a look at this thing at all. Nobody saw anything until your father just apparently sprouted some sort of immense crossbow bolt in his chest. He immediately looked stricken beyond the simple physical injury. Veins that looked black crawling up his skin suddenly looked pale and began to collapse even as another bolt struck him. And he seemed to have lost consciousness even before he hit the ground. And then nobody could see anything else, but in between the two shots, one of my men saw... It's hard to understand what it must have been, but he said that it looked almost like it was the size of a grizzly bear on its hind legs, but two massive tusks on its face, carrying a crossbow of enormous size. And then, as soon as it had fired the second shot, vanished into nothing. And I will just remind the players, because it's been a while,
Infernal assassin, right?
you in fact fought a creature of that description on your way back from the Stone Giant caves.
Was that the Sir Wordleplex encounter?
Yes. Yes. So you did actually fight a fiendish assassin creature that looked just like that, turned itself invisible, had a crazy crossbow. So, but she says that and says, and it seemed to have disappeared and gone, and your father was already dead, but Father Igneous was set to bring him back, and in the middle of the resurrection, he too was attacked. He's recovering. He did not fall, but he has not yet been able to reattempt the resurrection, and fears that this assassin may still be lingering in the area undetected.
You see a smile cross Alaric's face. Even better than I expected.
There's a moment there where she's just really trying to understand how that could possibly be true. How that could possibly be how you feel about what she just described.
Forgive me, Captain Brigga, for seeming somewhat alarming, but I had feared that this thing might be outside my grip. But knowing that it's probably still here fills me with a chance to get a little payback. Is there anything near Akina Athir that you require for this? Anything at all?
I need time to prepare the spells. I did not for this particular occasion last night. I
All
wasn't
right.
aware.
Well, then today perhaps will be assassin hunting, and tomorrow will be the return of my father.
Well, it seems like a really good way to draw out the creature.
It's true. It's true. Captain, I'm assuming you've had your people on watch for any sign of this thing. But I would ask that if you do see any sign, you be sure to come and find me or send message to me right away. Don't try to engage it, but track its movements. It will be far too dangerous for most here.
My men have occasionally passed on reports of hearing sounds of what might be movement, but nobody has seen it since Father Igneous was attacked. I will certainly put out the message that they should report any sign, but not engage without notifying you.
Good. Otterkey, can you still sense such things?
In the presence, yes.
How far?
I can also do that too, Alaric.
Only
Excellent. I
60
didn't know
feet.
that. And you,
Yeah, mine's only in the immediate area.
Cadence of the Water, how far can you? You've detected dragons at far distances. Can you sense it as well?
Let me see. It's been a while since I did that.
Yeah, as of level 18, Cadence has a cool ranger thing. I think what it is within 30 feet you are aware of any invisible creatures. But I think mechanically it's specifically just that you are not at disadvantage when you attack them.
Yeah, when you attack a creature you can't see, you don't have disadvantage.
Right.
But I also have the same thing that Archie has, where I can detect Fae, undead.
Okay.
I'm looking for it.
We can possibly create some sort of trap or diversion, something that will draw it to a place where we can find it. These are plans that you, Captain Brigga, perhaps will be more familiar with the immediate setup to do. other
Well,
than me.
at this point, we knew almost nothing about what we were up against. If you know more, that would help quite a bit in helping us to determine a plan to combat it. And
Um,
And Alark would say everything he knows. Mark has forgotten everything he might have known.
okay, yeah.
I have primeval. I have primeval awareness, which allows me. I can expend a ranger spell slot to sense whether there are any aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fays, fiends, or undead within 1 mile. It's within 6 miles if I'm in favored terrain.
Right.
But I don't think Alaric's house is my favorite terrain.
No.
I don't think.
Yeah. So I think that the sort of trade off between what you have as a ranger and what Otterkey has as a paladin is that like his is much shorter range, but if it's within range, he knows is like, oh, it's right there. Whereas yours is more like there's one in the area.
Does it count for mountains? Because mountains are one of my favorite terrains.
I feel like underground is different than mountains.
Okay.
Well, if you can confirm that it's still here, and if there are more than one, that would be helpful.
Okay. I just need 1 minute.
I think that based on the range you would know, you would wait until you arrived at the estate, probably.
Yep.
But as you arrive at the train station, Brigga has told you on the way that they've used the signaling devices that they have on along the train lines and everything to let people know that you're here, you're coming. And so as the train pulls into the station, you see your mother, who is dressed in mourning clothes, mourning MOURN.
It's her morning clothes.
Yes,
Hello.
and so she is there at the station, and you can see that just red eyes, and that she's clearly been crying. But as soon as the train stops, she's just running aboard and just grabs you in a big hug.
Mother. And he would actually kind of almost heave her up off her feet at this point. I'm sorry. I haven't been myself for a while. How are you? Are you hurt?
She's looking at you, and you see her kind of briefly just reacting to your not feeling the armor that she's seeing. Just in a bit of like, oh, that's interesting.
I can explain. It's an honorific granted on someone who wields this, and I will flash out the axe, the artifact.
She looks at it, and for a moment, you see her just with an expression of kind of like, oh, that's a really nice axe, but then a little bit of a dawning. Alaric, is that what I think it is?
It depends on what you think it is, but it probably is. Yes, these are what the story is. This is what the story was told about. It came into my hands almost, well, not exactly by accident, but it was fortuitous.
You see her sort of trying to process a little bit, and there's just a lot going on in her expression. She's just looking up at you, and she's just kind of starting to tear up again, and she just presses her face to your shoulder and is just hugging you again.
It'll be all right. We can take care of this. And I'll put the axe away. You remember Otterkey and Niraki Nethu? They were with me last time. I wasn't quite so pleasant last time. I'm sorry about that. These two are my new friends, Cadence of the Water and Cat of the Sands. They've all been remarkable.
She looks at all of, to Otterkey and Nira, just sort of nods in greeting, and then to Cat and Cadence just says, if you're friends of my son, then you're friends of Clan Copperbeard and of mine, and I wish you were visitors under better circumstances. But we've had some bad news, as you may have been made aware.
You misunderstand, Mother. We are here for better circumstances. We'll make it right. Father will be back. He'll be just as annoying as he always is, in the best possible way. And we'll take care of this assassin, too. I'm only sorry that it came to this.
She's just listening to you speak and just says, when you last left here, it wasn't even that long ago, but you seem like you've been through so much, you've come so far.
Yeah.
I see my son there, but I see what you've become, and
There's a bit of sheen to me, and there's some assistance. He kind of looks upward. Why, you don't know really, but somewhere the Fae apparently are above him in that respect. I've gotten some assistance, and this clothing is not real. I can assure you, though, that I am him. I've had a
No,
few years, a
Alaric.
few months.
She
to think
takes
about
your
it.
hand in both of hers and says, "That's not what I mean. I mean that my fears when you left was that you were entering danger and that I might lose you. But now what I see is how these adventures have made you you feel like you've become more yourself than you ever were here."
Mother, you're starting to embarrass me.
It's okay to accept the praise, Alaric.
Yes. They've
Your,
been very good for me.
your son has done remarkable things. You should be proud.
Of course. And I can't even quite allow myself to think it, but you believe that you can help. We have a priest. You may remember Father Igneous. He was going to call upon the magma spirit to try to resurrect Yagthor, but there was another attack. We don't know if there may be a curse remaining or if the assassin is still large. We've all been under lockdown, not knowing whether it's safe to leave.
We're here to
you
help.
think you-
We'll get to the bottom of it.
We've dealt with this sort of thing before, and knowing something more makes you better prepared.
Yes. Well, let me know how we can help.
Of course. But one of the things that will make me feel a lot better is to know that you're safe.
I didn't feel
Make sure.
I was until now.
It's good to see you. I'm sorry about the circumstances that bring me here, but I'm not sorry to be back. I'm not happy about the way that I left. There were some words that needed to be said. I just could have said them better.
I hope that Yagthor will be able to say words to you that he had in his heart, but was waiting until he saw you again.
I know my father. He will have the last word. Trust me.
So that's where you get it from.
Well,
I think you're right.
I think that if you're able to help as much as you say, you may be somewhat surprised. And you've been, I guess, standing there on the train platform probably still, right? I mean, you haven't been
Yeah, she
traveling
kind
yet.
of came after us.
Yeah. Cadence, had you gone ahead and started your thing, or were you waiting, just listening?
I was waiting.
Yeah,
I was being polite.
sure, sure. So she's just saying, shall we go back? How can I help? What do you need?
Oh, I need a quiet place for about a minute so I can do some magic to find out if the assassin is nearby.
And I would like to examine your husband, if you'll allow it, just to make sure there are no other effects I need to counter before the resurrection.
It sounded like some sort of poison. That doesn't make any sense.
It could be a curse as well.
Right. Araki, Cat of the Sands, anything the two of you require?
No. Point me in the direction.
I got everything I need right here.
I was like first waiting for you to point to something. Okay. So yeah, she, she and Briga both just kind of escort you. I think she would ask, Cadence, where would you want to do it? We can make anywhere you want to be private.
It doesn't have to be private. I just want to kind of be out of the way so that I don't disturb anyone or.
Well, you guys are like standing on a sort of a train platform leading
Yeah.
into a courtyard right now, so you could really go
Where is he being held in state?
He's in the house.
We should go there. I'd like to see him anyway.
So as you leave down the train platform and you head down to sort of the big like open courtyard that's outside the edifice. It's not a facade, I guess, but like the outside, the impressive looking part of the estate, but as you pass that courtyard, you see notably in the center of it are two statues. One is of a studious looking gnome looking thoughtful, and one is of a little fox like creature holding a frying pan and looking triumphant.
Whether I could see them both again.
Who are they?
You guys would recognize the fox one probably as Mugen.
That's Mugen. Something I made sure to have happen when I pardoned him. Sort of. And the other is Denholm. One of the greatest inventors we've ever had. Unfortunately, he fell victim to a bureaucratic fool. It almost killed me too. If it weren't for these two and Amethyst and Mugen himself. It's not a bad likeness, really. Although I think the smirk on Mugen needs to be just a little bit more playful and a little bit more knowing in the eyes, I think, too. Oh, and there's no frying pan. Why is there no frying pan?
I said there was a frying pan.
Oh, there it is.
You have to look at it from the right angle.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's got an illusionary quality. When you look at the wrong angle, you don't see the frying pan until it's too late.
And she says, and if
Sounds
you want
about
to see
right.
the smirk, you'll have to look at it from your father's window.
Ha! He would have it made that way.
Here's the thing. He told the sculptor to what Mugen looked like. And the sculptor swears he didn't remember carving it this way.
I wouldn't be surprised if Mugen himself has been here to make sure it got touched up properly. I've missed
Wait,
that little fox.
Really? I mean, I thought. I thought you had. I thought that he had died in the mine.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that also should be put on the statue somewhere. The phrase, it's complicated, carved in somewhere.
all of you have Such powerful magics you've all developed have access to now. Uh, I suppose it's just about anything may be possible.
Well, it doesn't come without cost.
Still, we've overcome a hell of a lot, and we're going to overcome a hell of a lot more. That may be literal, actually. There's a lot more to do. And I'm afraid I won't be staying for long. But I'll be staying for a little while.
Well, it seems you've come when it really mattered.
Almost too late. But some friends reminded me. And look over at Nirikina. And I suppose I had forgotten a few things. Now,
Uh,
let's go.
Yeah, so she leads you into basically it's because he's the head of the clan, you've got to have one of those rooms where you get to sit up on the high chair and everybody who's coming to get your opinion on stuff has to look up at you, right? Well, it's that, but instead of the desk and chair that wouldn't normally have been there, it's been replaced by sort of the, a beer, BIER.
I'm sorry. I was really thinking that was appropriate for a moment there.
Yeah.
With a gigantic beer in his
yeah.
place.
But yeah, he does. He does seem to be, there, laying down sort of the classic sort of pose. There's a warhammer clutched in his hands, on his chest, that you certainly recognize as like the family, like heirloom weapon. And at least at first glance, he looks like perfect. But your mother does just kind of touch you briefly first and sort of react to the illusion again, and she just says, there's a bit of that as well, for presentation, of course.
Right.
Should we dismiss it?
I think it would.
Nirikina, you'd need to see this, won't you?
Yes, and I think, Archie, you have some abilities with curses, correct?
I do.
Just in case?
Yeah, I do.
Right. Well, we need to make sure that this will work if I do it once. And, take.
Mm-hmm.
We should also talk to Father Ignatius. Igneous? Igneous. Pardon me.
Igneous.
Igni.
Igni.
Igneous. Yeah.
Igneous, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps, Mother, rather than seeing him in the less presentable state, if you could go with a guard to check on Father Igneous, and we'll be there shortly.
Yes, he's recuperating in one of the guest bedrooms.
Nirikina here also might look in on him. I think you have some spells along those lines.
I could probably help, yes.
All right.
So, I guess I'll wait until crowd disperses.
Sure. So I guess where is everybody going right now? Is it Cadence? Are you going to go find a little corner?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're at the,
Before I do, I'm actually going to ask, how long do you want me to search? It only goes for up to a mile, but I can maintain it longer if I need to.
Well, my concern now, right this second, is if I approach the body, that there's something nearby that's going to hinder me from doing anything at all.
So, invisible fiends.
Possible.
Okay. Alright, I will do it for 4 minutes.
okay.
So that way, if there is like something in this room, then I can detect beyond this room also.
Okay. So, I mean, I thought you said it was a mile radius.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I
But
guess I'm
like
gonna.
it,
I mean,
Will you
it's
this
be
is.
just
able
a
to
higher spell slot to maintain it longer. But that's all.
will you
Oh,
be able
okay.
to sense like if it moves closer during that time?
No, I can't tell where
Oh,
they are or how many
okay.
there
I
are.
follow. I follow. You just
Yeah,
want to kind of see if there's any change while Nira is going up to do her thing.
right.
I see. That's what I didn't follow was like
Yeah,
why you needed to hold it longer. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So, you begin your sort of meditation and you channel the natural magics at your disposal. You widen your awareness to take in the energies of this place and to look for things that don't belong here. And you find one. There is indeed a fiend not far away. It doesn't seem to be in this actual compound or the building right now, but it's not far.
Okay. I'll relay that information that it's not here, but it's very close.
So, mechanically speaking, I don't have Raise Dead equipped, so I would need a long rest to do that. So I can't actually do that right now.
Okay.
Which I'll also need for remove curse if it's needed, necessary.
Because I have like greater restoration and some healing stuff and whatnot. But yeah, so mostly just want to check him out and see what we're dealing with first.
Um, so, Helja, the Alaric's mother, says that they have you know, one of their, younger cousins is gifted with some illusion magics, and so she goes to fetch him to have him dismiss the one that's on the body, and as it's removed, she kind of looks away, like I think you get the impression that she saw it before. She's just not like eager to see it again, and the body is not like maimed in any way, but just the complexion is sort of very dark with sort of bulging veins all over it, and there's clearly two really large wounds in the chest, and yeah, that's what you see. But otherwise, it is the dwarf you remember. Beard and hair similar color to Alaric's, but shot with a little more gray in it.
By the stone. I wish I had punished that dragon even more.
It'll be all right, Alaric.
It will be,
It will be.
thanks to you.
Well, I'll have some help.
What kind of weapon is this? This isn't the same thing we were fighting, was it? That part's really fuzzy to me.
Are you asking me, the DM, or are you in character?
It's mostly me asking you, the DM.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, based on the description that Brigga passed on to you, even though it's kind of third hand by that point, sounds very like an assassin that you fought that was a fiend. There's a great big thing with giant tusks that fought with a crossbow and then turned invisible.
Did any of us get hit by the crossbow?
Probably.
Hmm.
You may recall that the crossbow seems to have multiple functions, like it could shoot different kinds of bolts.
Okay.
While she's doing this, can I use my my feral sense too to make sure there aren't any invisible creatures in the room?
I mean, so that's not something you have to activate.
No,
But
that's just
I'll keep it in mind. There's nothing in the room.
okay.
So, I don't have a whole terrible lot of things that are going to be super helpful right now.
Can you talk to him?
I don't even think I have Speak with Dead. Yeah, no, I've got... The only thing I've got is Revivify right now, and Greater Restoration. which might. Where are you?
Yeah, revivify. It's too late.
Yeah, it's way too late. So like I can get rid of poison and stuff, but after a long rest. Greater restoration would get rid of any curses. Yeah. Charmed or petrified, one curse. Reduction to the ability scores and hit point maximums. Well, I don't have anything better to do, so I'm going to hit him with greater restoration just to see if it affects the look of him at all.
I feel like you're not going to see any difference in a dead body. I don't think.
Yeah. But in order for the for Raise Dead to work, like in order for it to stick, all of this stuff has to be taken off of him.
I think you're making some assumptions that I wouldn't necessarily have. I mean, double check the Raise Dead spell because I think it actually does say that it cures some things.
Clicked off it again. Hold on.
This spell also neutralizes any poisons and cures non-magical diseases that affected the creature at the time that it died. It does not, however, remove magical diseases, curses, or similar effects.
Right, so that's why I was thinking greater restoration might
Okay,
be of
yeah.
some help. But yeah.
Can you greater restoration?
Yeah,
the
but
corpse?
what I'm saying though is that
Mhm.
you wouldn't see any difference.
Right. Okay.
Would it work though on a dead body? That's what I'm curious about. Or would it be better to wait until he was revivified?
I'm gonna just say that like you guys know how the spell works and that like the spell itself could cleanse whatever poison or whatever is lingering in there, magical or otherwise, so that it's just not like to the extent that it would still be there in the dead body, it can be cleansed from the dead body, but you wouldn't necessarily see the dead body look different.
Okay. So he won't like come back and then die again like right away because he had like some kind of terrible curse or whatever.
Well, that would be the goal to prevent that.
right.
Right.
Okay.
Can I do? Would a medicine check help with figuring any of this stuff out?
You could try.
Like if it's a physical poison or if
Mhm.
yeah, okay.
Can
So I have a
can I
plus
help with
11.
that?
Well, I have a plus 11, but I rolled a natural 20,
Oh,
so
nice.
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, hang on just a moment.
Whoop, whoop.
With a natural 20.
There's this strange button. If I press it, he comes back to life. All
Hang
dwarves
on.
are born with that. Didn't you know?
So, a 31 medicine check means that I'll tell you basically exactly what it did. So what you see actually is that the poison itself seems to not necessarily have been what was lethal, but what it did was it basically paralyzed him completely. Like it would have made him go rigid, and it wouldn't have been what killed him, but it would have certainly prevented him from defending himself. And you think that the cause of death was the 2 crossbow bolts to the chest, and the poison, the effect of the poison was having him be paralyzed, and
Yeah, so in
that's
case
not
they-
what killed him.
Yeah, so in case they don't get a fatal shot, then
Yeah, to keep him
Couldn't go
from like
anywhere.
running away or dodging or whatever. Yeah.
right.
You might be able to do more for Father Igneous.
Yeah. Now, you note though that it's, I mean, it certainly would have like had its own sort of damage, but it was probably not the cause of death. Like, in fact, actually, what you believe is probably true is that if anything, the damage it was doing was probably more like lightning damage.
Interesting.
You know, so like what seems like it could be like poison trails, you suspect might have actually been sort of like electric shocks, but like generated internally rather than from outside.
Wow. That is nasty.
Yeah, with that score, I think that you're pretty sure that that is in fact what happened. Is that somehow, probably what happened is that crossbow bolt that hit him, instead of a spell that like you hit someone with lightning, the crossbow bolt went into him and then jolted him with electricity from inside.
Wow.
That's a horrible way to do this.
Well, I don't think it was meant to be nice. We'll get
True.
him.
Yes. How much time do you need to cast the spell? If we haven't caught him by then, he'll probably attack you while it's happening.
I believe Raise Dead is an hour. Let me just double check that.
There are things we can do to, like, watch over her, and
Yeah, it
I can
does take
detect-
an hour. Yeah.
1 hour.
I can detect if there's like an invisible presence in the room. I can also hide and attack it if I do detect it, if it shows up while this is happening. We could also, we could always like even set it up like she's going to do it to lure it in before she even attempts it so that it doesn't break the spell and like ruin the chance.
Well, Brigga said when they attempted this before, he attacked just before the resurrection was complete.
I don't think I made that specific detail. I said he was attempting to bring him back, and there was another attack.
Before it can be completed, okay.
Yeah.
Just at, some point.
So
The red
we could
countdown
try
clock
something
was
like that.
still on, 1 minute and 27, not at, 0.
But
So they won't necessarily attack right at the outset, but
we don't know
because
when
if they're not here immediately, like they might hear that the thing is happening and then come as quick as they're able to.
we could have people run around and say that, like, oh, finally someone has come, they're going to save him. Make it really obvious so that we're doing this, get the attention, get it ready, act like that's what we're doing, and then be ready.
Yeah. I think having Father Igni up on his feet as we attempt this, so we have a backup, would be a smart plan as well, just in case something happens to me.
He might be able to say other things too.
Yeah. I just remembered something that I think is actually probably helpful in this, which is that I believe that back when you originally fought the other one of these things, it was Archie who, having studied demons and devils in the Villa Nocta library, got like a natural 20 or something to say, what is this thing? And I vaguely recall saying, oh, you know exactly what it is. It's this thing called an Orthon that's like a fiendish infernal assassin, and it does exactly these things. So I'm just reminding Chooch the player, that that Archie actually recognized from the descriptions in the book that what you're dealing with is an Orthon. So
that.
Yeah,
He
and
would
then
absolutely
basically
bring that back
what
up.
they are is when someone of sufficient power makes a deal with a devil in order to say, I need someone killed, and Orthon is probably who gets to do the job.
So here's my question. How do we ensure that if we get rid of this one, that more won't come?
No more contracts, I think. If the contract was for this specific creature to come and assassinate this person, no one else would take it up, would they? They'd get nothing to gain.
Unless you guys would prefer differently, I'm going to assume that Brigga is still there with you, like listening to this, unless you would prefer otherwise.
I don't
the
care.
guard
Yeah.
captain.
I don't
I don't
care.
mind that.
I think what she says is, but it already stuck around. It killed him and then attacked again when we tried to bring him back. How long would it stay?
To make sure the job is completed, probably.
And stays completed.
Yeah.
And
And that's my
these
concern
spells,
here.
these spells have a limit, don't they? It can only be dead so long.
I don't know. You got 200
some are
years
hundreds
laying
of
around?
years. Yeah.
I've got one that 200 years and I could still do it.
And this one is for 10 days. So far, it's only been not even a full day. Is that correct?
18 hours?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Has there been any other attack?
No, I mean the original attempt on him, and then we brought Father Igneous over right away, and
What about
tried
my
this.
mother?
Yeah, that's
Was
what
she
I was going
attacked?
to ask.
No, she was there when your father was attacked, but there was no attacks on her. It seems to have just been him that it was targeting.
Maybe the contract was something wider. What did the dragon say?
He said that we were going to pay for breaking deals. That's what he said. That he had
Sort
already
of.
sent
And-
assassins to guarantee that if he died, that we would be punished.
That
Alaric
if we
looks-
broke our deal, they would act.
Alaric looks up slowly, straight at Nirikina. My father wasn't the only one under threat. They carried through this one. I thought it was an idle thing, and I didn't realize that he was even alive, but Nirikina, have you checked?
Who would I check on?
The dragon threatened, and Mark can't remember exactly what the
Hey.
connection was.
It was
It
Mira's
was her
mother.
My mother.
mother.
Yeah.
Was it Mother? Yeah.
Yeah.
The dragon threatened both my father and your mother.
I would have no way to check. I have no memory of her whatsoever. I don't even know her name.
I'm trying to remember if you've ever mentioned it.
Nope.
Then we'll have to go there in person.
We have other things to do. Let's take
As
care
soon
of
as
this
we
first.
can, we're going to that mountain. I'm assuming that's where they are. Been meaning to check up on it anyway. I feel kind of responsible for it after all. We can take time for it. It's important.
Let's deal with what's in front of us first. So my concern here is that I could resurrect him. You could kill the assassin that's here, and they'll just send another one.
But I don't think that it's going to work that way. I mean, I could just be speculating, but it was like assassin. That's what he said. So
So maybe it's here for more than just that.
I think
Here to
Archie,
ensure that it's dead and stays dead.
what you would know is that it's basically entirely down to the terms negotiated in the contract made, and you don't know that.
we don't know that.
So it could be anything, right? Like it depends on what the contract says.
Well,
I mean-
when we get the chance, we can ask it.
For all we know, it's waiting for you to come here so we can kill you, Alaric. We have no idea. There's only one way to find out.
We'll have to
Right.
capture it alive.
Aha! And that's the perfect line to finish the episode on. I was waiting. I was waiting for one.
We have to take it alive.
Yeah.
Ending.
That's the perfect place to draw tonight's session to a close. Some great stuff. We have some people watching us live this time. Welcome, all of you. And if any of you have questions you would like to ask the characters to have them answer in character, feel free to shout those out in the chat. And we'll give you a few moments to deal with that as we are wrapping things up. But yeah, fun session, you guys.
Mark, you did not
Yeah.
make that whole memory thing easy.
I was not expecting that to be tonight's episode. Holy moly! Nothing like going. Okay, yeah, this would be a big thing if you ever learn this again. I'll be able to think about that later. Think about it now. Oh crap!
Here's where I'm going to just do a little bit of DM whining, just for all of you DMs out there, so you know my pain is that I between sessions asked the players to say, can you maybe give me a little bit of an idea of where you guys think you're going next? And you, between all of you, basically listed like 5 different things.
Yeah.
I don't think I answered, so I'm sorry. It's been a really
No,
long
that's
week.
all right. So it's just kind of like, oh, okay, well, we're just going to follow up on every loose thread remaining in the game. It's like, okay, well, I
Yeah.
guess I'm prepping all of them then. That's fine. So Smarter Master in the chat says, so Alaric, what do your feelings for Nira mean with your memories returned?
Yeah, I mean, I could really cop out and just say it's complicated, but it's. I think. I mean, it's supposed to be the character, isn't it?
How do you feel, Alaric?
I have always been me. I am just now more me than I ever have been. Or I have been for the last while.
Oh God, forget I asked.
But I have a lot more responsibilities now. There, that's complicated enough.
It's true. He is more himself. His mommy said so.
Yeah.
Well, that was kind of the point of what Nero was getting at, because, like, Alaric's been struggling.
Yeah.
I
have to struggle on
am
entirely
just
different things.
fascinated on how Nira felt so strongly that both Alaric and Cadence should get their memories back, and then, nah, I'm good. And nobody called her on it. Whatever.
Nira has her reasons.
I honestly Cadence really likes Nira, but she does not know enough about her past
Mhm.
that she would even be like. I mean, that's like if Cadence was like, my past is important to me. That's why she sacrificed it. So Nira was more like, I want to get rid of it.
Well, it's just one of those things. It's like Queen Salomonia said, she's like, her response, like, after Alaric got his memories, is like, he doesn't seem happier now to me. So is that, I did it because he asked me to, but okay. Smarter Master also says, Nira, are you dreading what's waiting on the mountain?
Maybe a little, but it's hard to put it in context. Because I've detached from all of that so much. I know I should care about it, but it's hard to find a reason why. It's complicated.
Why'd y'all have to go and make things complicated? So I think we're leaving it there for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for listening and or watching, and we will be back next week for more adventure on so many
levels.
Many levels.
So everybody stay safe out there. Wash your hands and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
Wash your
man.
hands.
Social distancing, 6 feet apart.
Yep.
We love you.